What's up, guys? So this site here is a real interesting one. It's a converted old hotel, and it needed all new wiring for low voltage security, etc. Now, there was already some cameras here, a lot of weird piping situations, a lot of rough wiring. Unfortunately, we had to leave everything in place and just add everything new. So first step is to really plan it out. We had to get a big junction box in. This is their old camera space. So we have to start doing it. So let me just give you a bit of a walkthrough here. So we got a big old junction box, some custom attachments. A lot of it's planning out, figuring how we're going to get piping into certain areas. This is a boiler room that was all full of stuff. Looking at where our pipes are going to come down, how we're planning it out. That's always critical, really engaging our quality control and engineering team on that, just to really, get a good game plan together and figure it out, whether or not that's getting parts or just making sure it's going to work right. So planning is always the first step. Start drilling, start getting piping in. Really proud of the team as, they always give us IT guys grief that we don't do pipe work. And I think the guys really knocked this one out of the park, especially considering just how difficult the facility was to work in. It's fully occupied, and so, we had to work around everyone and people and equipment. So that's always a challenge. Some of the areas were not secure areas. Some had to be secure, hence the piping. Some areas were not. So lots of pipe here. We've got a computer lab, and as you can see, the old wiring was all across the floor. Now, this was an interesting area because we really had to come up and get around in this office. And, of course, with the exposed HVAC as well, exposed wiring, it's quite a challenge. Really proud of Sterling and Zach and the entire team on that. So had to kind of reuse some of the flex, but also adding a lot of our own EMT. I'm not a big flex fan. It really sucks to pull cable through, and just from a grand future standpoint, not great. We did elect to use a lot of strut as we were able to anchor that correctly and then add our pipes to it. It also gives us a good backbone for future work, so makes it a little bit easier. As you can see, more strut here, more piping. Lots and lots of bends and getting around things. It was a real challenge. So I know there's going to be some pipe pros in here that are like, this just isn't done right. You should do it this way, should do it that way. And, they're probably correct. A lot of it's just figuring out how to get things the way it has to be, so really, again, proud of, look at that, S-curves, double saddles. I love it. Great work to the team. Again, Sterling, Zach, Terry, Micah, Ben, Ryan, Josh, everyone who was out on this one here, they killed it. So we're doing about 6 or 7 of these facilities for this client, and they're all tricky. Old buildings, very, very difficult. Lots of pipe work there, as you can see. Look at that, nice and siliconed in and everything on this outdoor box. Of course, we're not allowed to install the cameras yet, so we're having to separate things. Got our fire-rated backboard there. We got our rack that the client provided, but it's working well. So there's Terry the Terminator working away. So it's like we've got all the cabling from the first and second floor, or first and basement up. Look at that mess of pipe and conduit. Love it. We got AP5 going right there, as you can see. They're working the cabling up. So we got guys working away. Look at that service loop coming along nicely. We tried to do figure eights whenever we can. I tell you what, in this facility, it's definitely a bit of a challenge. We had almost 100 drops, or a little over, that went into this place, and it's tight. Got bushings on the pipes going through the floor there, of course, and that's in an unsecure area, and then we come up to the secure area. So really just trying to make it good. Some of the old raceway they had really wasn't the worst. It was just a situation of it had Cat 5, and we couldn't do a hot cutover on this site at all. They're doing some major network upgrades and whatnot in the future here, so everything had to go in alongside what they had. We couldn't put anything in the old locations. So it's really quite interesting, but I think at the end of the day, she's coming out pretty darn good. So we still got a little bit of work left over here, as you can see, but we got the pipe running all the way around there. Gotta love those old buildings with all their architectural challenges, But again, proud of the team on this one. It's not something we have to mess with every day, and the crew really stepped up and figured some things out. Gosh, they put a level on it. They said, this is straight. The wall's just not straight. And we got the upper service loop there, and lots of Belden wire, of course, our favorite. So there's their old IT rack that, as you can see, didn't do too well. That came in through it, so got it all laced up. Service loop's not 100% perfect. It was real challenging up there because you only had about 12 inches of space to work with between the door frame and the rack. Of course, we label all of our spots whenever the wiring isn't visible for future, so when you come back and mount the cameras or mount devices, it's much easier. Cam 8, Cam 24, love those big old yellow labels. And look at Micah, smiling as ever. Anyways, so this one here is about finished up, guys. There we go. Appreciate you rolling along for the ride. We had about 700 feet of pipe in. Tell us what you want to see next.